when your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet. Will your mouth still remember the taste of
so I've
your
already
love?
put the pictures up which have got me measuring the thing out and scoring the lines. I've primed it with flat grey. It's not particularly expensive primer, nice and cheap. I got it from the pound shop in town, surprisingly enough. So the next thing we need to do is put some pre-shading on the panel lines. The best thing to do is probably have it nice and thick, because concrete panels, when you put them down, are very dirty. You don't need to be neat with this, so just go for it. What you'll end up with is something that looks a little bit like that. Just continue until you've filled them all. Great fun. So the next step, we've got all the panel lines on now. As you can see, it's looking pretty messy. So what I'm going to use now is Vallejo Model Air German Grey. It's very similar to the colour that the primer is, but it doesn't really matter because it's just to kind of blend in the panel lines. We'll put more colour and texture on it very shortly. I'm using quite a high pressure and quite a thin paint on this so that I can spray from quite far away and get good coverage. Obviously you don't want well-defined, perfectly smooth coverage, you want it looking pretty dirty. There you go. If you see how it's working on that bottom corner there, it's starting to fade it in slightly. There you go, that's that bit done, and then see how it's turned out now. Obviously we'll get a different effect on it once it's dried properly. And now we'll look for some other colours. The other colours I'm going to be using are, I'm going to use some white for the lightness, a bit of brown to tarnish it, and green in the cracks to make it look like grass. So time to change paints. Okay, so the first colour that I'm going to use is this one here. It's Vallejo Model Colour, Pale Brown. What I'm going to do is do this from quite far away and just patchy and sparse. If I do a couple of the panels and then I'll show you, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Again, I've got a few bits of patchy brown on there. Probably don't stand out too much until the other colours go on. We'll do those all the way across, and then we'll go on to dark brown, light green and dark green. We've done all of the light brown. What I'm going to do now is put some dark brown on as well. It's Vallejo model colour Armour Brown. So if you look on there now, we're starting to get a bit more definition. Looks like staining from oil and things. So I'll do the rest of this and then we'll move on to the green. Okay, so that's all the brown done now. What we're going to do is use some of this Revel Aquacolour white that I've got. It's very much thinned down. It's just going to be the lightest bit that I'm going to be putting on. Mostly towards the centre of each of the flags and then spread out a little bit from the middle. I'll do one. There you go, that's about enough for one flag. It just makes it look a little bit more like concrete. Okay, nearly done. I've lightened it up quite a bit. As you can see, I've put a masked up white stripe on there as well, just because it adds a bit of character. What I'm going to move on to now is doing the green. This will be going in the lines, mostly on the crosses, a few patches elsewhere. I'm going to start off with RLM 82, which is Vallejo light green. And do a few patches of those and see how it goes from there. Got some green added, makes it look a little bit older and a bit more used. I'll swap onto light green. Very nearly done now. What I've got now is some Vallejo Model Air light green, pale green, which will just be the last few dots of these. It's just to add a little bit of character to the green that we've already put on. And that I'm happy enough with. So thanks for your time. I shall stick some photographs on the end of the video with a couple of aircraft sat on it. See what you think. Thanks.